The top 5 rose oud fragrances in my collection. I know it's a tired genre. You get sick of hearing about yet another rose oud, but I've tried a huge number from all the leading brands, and these are my top 5, and they're anything but boring, okay? And I've tried to pick them from a broad range of styles. The first is Kilian's Rose Oud. Rose Oud is a very fresh take on rose. The rose is a perfect balance between a kind of a jammy rose and a kind of a bright, prickly rose. It's not the grandma rose, but it's not overly decadent. And there's lychee in here, and there's a little bit of cinnamon, and there's something quite creamy in the base. We don't know if there's real oud in here or not, but it's the saffron in here gives the impression of real oud. This is fresh, this is uplifting, and you can wear it any time of year. It's a staple in my wardrobe. The next one is Roja's Amber Aoud. Now, this is anything but ambery. I think the amber in here refers to the ambergris in the base notes. This is a very jammy, very decadent rose. There's also fig in here that's amped up in the absolute précieuse version, which I also have, but this is more of an all-rounder, and it's extremely elegant. It's probably the most unisex or even feminine leading fragrance in this list, but there's something in the dry down that's very much like kind of a clean linen. It gives this impression of luxury, but clean, but put together. It's absolutely beautiful fragrance. You know, is it worth 700 pounds or whatever for 100 mils? I'll let you decide. The next one is Xerjoff's Xerjoff Warda al Oud. This one is very soapy and very fruity. It's got Cambodian oud. It's got osmanthus. It gives kind of a fruity impression, but there's huge doses of musk and vanilla in the base, and it's enormous. I know with some atars they sit close to the skin, but not this one. You have to be careful. I just put a little drop on my neck last night, and I can still smell it today. It's the best performing in the lot, but you have to be careful. It's very strong, very exotic, very soapy. It's kind of like a rose oud take on Pico Valladama. The next one is Bortnikoff's Oud Maximus. Now this is probably could have been number 1, but when we get to number 1, I'll say why it isn't. This has multiple different types of rose in it, different types of oud in it. It's also got civet. It also has natural musk. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very, very long lasting. And as the fragrance progresses, it just gets darker and darker, and kind of a leathery facet comes out, although leather isn't really listed. But this is very oriental, very authentic, and it's all natural oud, all natural rose. It's a real heavy hitter. You got to get your nose on this if you haven't already. The number 1 is actually Areej Le Dore's Beauty and the Beast. And I know some people out there will say, hey, wait a minute, Malik Al-Taif is better. Well, I missed out on that one. Okay, that has like 30% rose oil picked by virgins in Saudi Arabia or something like that. I missed out on it. Can't find it anywhere. But this one is a beauty. It has really animalic oud in there, like Hindi oud, but it also has beautiful rose and actually rose water in the base. And the rose water in the base keeps the fresh, bright rose, kind of a pink rose, going through the entire fragrance. And this is almost as long lasting as Warda al Oud. I put some on last night, could still smell it, but the amazing thing is that it didn't really go super dark. The rose maintains its freshness. There's a contrast, as in most of Russian Adam's work, a contrast between the light and the dark. And that's perhaps why the Bortnikoff didn't get listed higher than this, is that the Bortnikoff came across as being kind of tonally kind of flat, like lacking dynamic range. Like a lot of Bortnikoff fragrances, in my opinion, have this kind of like one kind of band of olfactory experience without the real dramatic contrast that you can get in an Areej Le Dore. This is absolutely beautiful, still available on their website and highly recommended. This to me is the best rose oud that I've smelt, and I've smelt a lot of them. But anyway, if you're a fan of fragrance related content, my new book, The Orphean, just came out last week, and it's A day in the life of a man's fashion and fragrance influencer on his way to meet his estranged daughter and all the bizarre events taking place around the world. If you like the novel by Patrick Susskind, Perfume, you'd absolutely love this. It's kind of dreamlike, kind of Kafkaesque, not as in the perfume blogger Kafkaesque, but as in Franz Kafka. But it's also very entertaining because some of the characters are quite strange and unusual. But anyway, if you're a fan of fragrances, have a look at this novel. So anyway, what are your favorite Rose Ouds? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again.